Today on Suncoast View, Manatee County wants its workers to have attachment issues. Will community commitment help keep local talent and young professionals here? We'll discuss.
Our development expert is back with the latest on all the new buildings and projects that are popping up all over the Suncoast.
And speaking of building, Suncoast kids are building amazing creations out of Legos. They're bringing the first robotics competition to our area. All that and more right now on Suncoast View. Welcome to the show, and welcome back to our friend Candace McKellia. Great to have you with us.
Thank you. It's so good to be back.
And Will Luera also sitting in with us today.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here.
Almost a regular.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
I know, we missed you for like a week and a half and wondered what was going on. But of course, you've been busy, and
Yes.
I did not realize that your stage presence has extended into your children as well, and that your daughter has been a big part of Florida Studio Theater's latest production.
That's right. Yep. She was in Once. So this was
really?
Yeah, Once the musical. So this was the her first play actually, because mostly she does ballet. But they were looking for somebody that fit her look, and she auditioned. She got the part, and this is her with some of her cast members. This is us at the. That's not a real bar.
I was going to say, this is us at the bar.
This is an on-stage bar for Once, and she loved it. This was, I mean, there was a 2-week rehearsal process. Then the show ran for 11 weeks.
A long time.
Yep.
Wow.
Did she like that? Did it ever seem tedious to her doing the same show night after night?
Not at all. She still loved it, and I saw it from like the first week all the way to closing night, and she was still always
got
in
the
it.
bug.
Oh, I think she might, yeah. And I was very happy for her because it was also her first job. So and she treated it
How
like
old is
that. She's 8 years old, and so.
Oh, you should be working at 8 years old.
Could you please call my 17-year-old? Because we're still trying for this. Tell you what. Oh, well, good for you. That's
Yeah,
exciting.
very proud of her.
Exciting to watch the theater bug get into a child when it's something that you love so
And
much.
it was nice to just be like, it was her show, so I was just, I stayed
you
back
weren't
while
in it.
she integrated with her and hung out with her castmates and all that. A little bit. Well, part of the show, she's up on a bar, like about this as high as this table, and she's dancing on it. And then, you know, I was always nervous, like, oh my, is she gonna be afraid? But no, she handled it like a pro. She was
Wonderful.
awesome.
She learned from Dad.
A lot of fun. Well,
thank you.
congratulations, Dad.
Thank you.
Well, and Candace knows what it's like to watch children succeed because you are still a very busy soccer mom.
Oh my gosh, soccer
I
every
know.
weekend.
Every weekend?
Yes.
Where's the latest stop?
We just participated in the Dimitri Cup in Naples, which is always a great tournament in January.
Yep.
And her team did real well. They came in as a semifinalist. She played for the Northport Fusion.
Fun.
So it's just soccer, you know, all the time. But there's nothing like watching your kid do well at a sport or on stage, or, you know, watching them score a goal. And then actually at the tournament in Naples, they found out after their game that Abby Wambach was watching the game.
No kidding.
So
That's
the girls just
exciting.
freaked out. She talked with every single one of them. She shook their hands.
That's
Her
so
daughter
nice.
was actually playing on the opposing team.
No
So,
kidding.
yeah.
Does Abby Wambach live in Southwest Florida?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. We'll have to find out
think
about
my
that.
daughter like Google stalked her afterwards. So I think she does live in Naples or Miami or somewhere like that. So yeah, it was cool.
In both cases, it's so important for a kid to find a passion.
Yes.
And something they can succeed at.
agree.
And you can't make them succeed. So it's so great when they find something that they do well
And
in.
kudos to both of you, because I
Yes.
know from both worlds it takes a ton of mom and dad time.
Yes.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
you don't have weekends because you're traveling, you're paying for hotels.
Right.
I mean, it's fun and it's
It is.
enjoyable, but sometimes you sit back and you're like,
Where's
was that?
my life?
Wait.
Like, where is my life?
Let me know if you find it. Let me know if you find it. So that's part of parenting, as we know and love. All right, we're going to head to the kitchen today, where our pit master, Boston Bike from Stottlemyre Smokehouse, is with us. What are we making?
Hi, Stephanie. How are you doing? I'm going to do a steak bomber today.
A steak bomber?
Yes,
All right, I got
ma'am.
questions. Right, what is a steak bomber?
It's a ribeye steak, and we can also do a pulled chicken as well with sauteed mushrooms, onions, and peppers.
Okay, so you know, you're from Boston. I guess you call it a bomber. I went to college in Pennsylvania. We would have called that a Philly cheesesteak.
Exactly.
Is that the same thing?
Exactly the same thing,
I
but
like
other
that.
people
We
got
just
different
learned
names.
something.
Yeah. boost it up.
Yeah.
Big reveal.
It's a bigger deal when Boston Mike makes it.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm understanding. All right, we are all about big deals. Sounds good. It is time for our first before we get to our first hot topic, I forgot that I actually did have a life this weekend, and I want to share with you guys. My husband and I did something kind of fun on Friday. We did like a little staycation-y type thing.
Love it.
We went to Bradenton Friday afternoon and did everything we could. The only rule was it had to be on foot.
Okay.
Because well, I'm trying to work out more. I refuse to stop going out, but we have to exercise while we do it. My husband finds me really annoying for this. So we started with the Bradenton River Walk. It was lovely. We walked all the way down to the far eastern edge, which right now is Caddies on the river. They call it Caddies at the Point. If you have not been there, they have the most amazing patio with literally 270-degree views of the water, the birds coming in and out. You can sit outside, you can sit inside, you can order food. And there's big talk about whether or not to expand that Riverwalk farther east. So it gets a thumbs up for me after what I saw there down there. And then we walked the entire length of the Riverwalk. And I made him cut up Old Main Street because I said, well, let's go see the older part of town. They're trying to rehab Old Main. Lots of people sitting out on all the outdoor streets, and it did have a completely different feel. It was amazing to think I was only 2 blocks away. Okay, so then we headed a little farther inland, and I had to feed him. So we're in Village of the Arts, and he was starting to get a little irritated with me. I'm not going to lie.
You guys walked along.
We walked a long
keep the guys fed.
Right, so we went to Bird Rock Taco Shack. Now, I've known Chef Dave Shiplett for years because he had some of the more upscale places in Bradenton, and he decided to try a different concept. Great food, but Village of the Arts was the coolest place ever. I have never really walked up and down every street and looked at the bakeries, the antique shops, the restaurants, tons of little tiny places there that you would have never found. I know it was like 4 o'clock, so we were missing the opportunity to go in a lot of the galleries, but again, a totally different experience than the Riverwalk or Old Main. And then we took a really big haul over the bridge because we are good friends with Chef Faz. He had just been here with Blue Mangrove Grill, and I realize I say every time, you've got to see the back of this place. You've got to see the back of this place. So there is the patio that we talk about so often at Blue Mangrove Grill, and it overlooks a lovely marina full of yachts that I'll never get to experience, so I like to sit on the patio and look at them. So all of that right here in Bradenton.
Yeah, it's very charming.
I had a life for one day. It was really fun.
Awesome that you did it right here, things you'd never done before.
Exactly, because I can't go away for the weekend because I was on a football field the rest of it. But there's so much to do here and really nice to just take a little time. And that was about 4 hours, and we were tired, but it was fun.
I'm a big fan of staycations. I've said before, I think on this show, like people from all over the world come here, and sometimes we forget to take advantage.
Pay thousands and thousands of
Right.
dollars, and we're right here.
Exactly. So we can do it all with just an afternoon, and so we're very lucky to do that. Speaking of manatee, our first hot topic, it is a question rather that we frequently ask here on the Suncoast. How do we keep our local talent and young professionals here? Well, the Bradenton Economic Development Corp is taking a new approach. They say a vital element to keeping workers is to help them get attached to the area, play on their emotions, create a community connection. Research shows a strong relationship between community attachment, economic growth, and the rate of growth in gross domestic product. So the group Realize Bradenton points to the Riverwalk, the Farmers Market, and Blues Festival as their efforts to create a stronger community. What do you think about this approach?
Well, you know what? It's going to come down to money. They would love to stay, the kids that grew up here. They would love to stay, but you've got to make a good wage first. But I think attaching them to the community, we're going to get that. We're going to get the better money. So attaching them to the community means they can be lured back.
I think what Realize Bradenton is doing, what they've done for the past 5-10 years, is amazing. They are doing great things to promote that community connection. We're very involved with the Riverwalk. But to your point, I completely agree. And affordable housing. I mean, there's no place for kids to live here who are entry level, working in a job that's making like $35,000, $40,000 a year. You cannot find anywhere to live and to support that. So that's a big, big point.
Yeah.
Agreed,
So the connection's great, but they got to afford to live here.
Yeah.
And I am seeing with all these efforts, I am seeing the quality of life improve. And for someone who's relatively new to the area, I've only been here for 3 years, and I'm already attached. So I've definitely benefited from the investment that's being put into the community.
We
It's
need
a
the jobs
wonderful
with
home
the
town.
Yes.
We do.
Yeah,
We
the jobs that'll continue to progress upwards. So
Yes.
even if it's a little bit of a stretch to live here in the beginning, you know you can get promoted
Exactly.
Right.
and be able to stay.
Absolutely.
So, well, it starts with jobs, but it is nice to have people want to be here.
But it's a lot of things together, so
It
this
is.
helps
It's
tremendously.
a piece of the puzzle. So Amazon has now officially unveiled its first Amazon Go grocery store to the public in Seattle. Amazon Go stores use sensors and computer vision in tandem with their app so you can walk out with your items without a checkout. No lines, no cashiers. You'll be sent a receipt right when you leave. So this has been tested on Amazon employees for the last year, and now anyone can try it. How do you feel about this no human interaction at a grocery store?
I read about this weekend, and it's kind of cool, but it's kind of freaky, you know?
Yeah, it is.
I won't miss the people. I mean, that's me rude, but I don't need interaction at the grocery. I need food, and I got things to do.
Well, I hear they will not be firing people. They'll just be giving them different jobs. I mean, somebody's got to be adding up how much we're spending
Yeah.
on camera somewhere. And they say they'll do a lot of this on camera and with the app. So those people will still have their jobs.
I'm big into technology. I'm a fan of this. I'm looking forward to experiencing it here. I've been to similar places in Japan, both for
interesting.
both shopping and eating, like just a faceless restaurant, right? And it's really interesting, but it's definitely just like when you have specific needs, you're going in just for those specific things.
Right.
There is something to be said for the human interaction, for the valued opinion of the expert there. But I could see this, like, I just need to pick up some paper towels and maybe some beer and
Right.
something else.
I don't need to talk about it.
Yeah,
I need to get it
exactly.
done. A little scary, though, with Amazon buying Whole Foods.
Right.
Will we see this at Whole Foods at some point? Will we see more technology now coming into Whole Foods, which is, of course, a huge player here on the Suncoast?
I just want my groceries delivered by drone. That would be super
look forward to
cool.
We're pretty close to that.
Yeah.
Yes. We are pretty close to that. So did you know that airlines charge fees for kids to fly solo? If this is anything you've ever looked into, these fees can be huge. So the New York Times put together a list of different carriers and their unaccompanied minor charges. There is little uniformity, so shop around. The definition of a solo minor changes depending on the airline. So at 12, kids can fly alone as an adult without fee on Southwest. It's as old as 15 on other carriers. The convenience fees can range into the several $100 range. Is this another one of those convenience charges in airline, or is this legit that we should be paying hundreds of dollars for preteens and teens to fly alone?
Are they giving them, is somebody sitting with them? Like,
Right,
what
what
exactly
do
are we
they get
paying
for
for?
that?
They are watching them.
Yeah, and that, in our experience, we were always flying teens around with divorced families.
too.
So we would have somebody watch them as they got on, but they never looked at them again.
Exactly.
I remember when I was younger flying by myself, visiting relatives up north, and the flight attendant would actually walk me on the plane and walk me off the plane.
They do that if
I'm
they're
not sure.
under a certain age.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
they're making sure there's a pretty good sign out procedure, because like Linda, I've done this with preteens,
Right.
where they check ID and the person coming to get them has to match.
Right.
You know, did you need that at 12? Do you need that at 16?
Right.
I mean, it's like there's no uniformity.
Right.
And so parents end up paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
I don't think that's fair.
No.
I don't think you're getting your money's worth there. Just think you could hire somebody to just go with them the whole
Right.
way.
For that price, absolutely you could. So just another way airlines are sneaking a little money under the rug, I think. Zac Efron, typically thought of kind of that hot guy from High School Musical. We don't usually complain when he shows up in some movies. Maybe Baywatch. Well, this is a different look. Here are the first creepy images of him as a serial killer. Efron will play Ted Bundy in the upcoming biography titled Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. That's the title. He was known, though, as a hunky killer, correct, Linda?
Anne Rule was a writer. She wrote his story,
Right.
and she worked with him on a suicide watch at night, and she thought he was adorable. He was great looking. He was charming.
Right, that's
he
what
was
they
fun to
said,
be with.
yep.
And when she was awarded the rights to write a book about the serial killer, he took her out for dinner. He was a serial killer. So the scary thing about serial killers is they look just like the rest of
right.
us.
That's interesting. And do you think Zac Efron is a decent choice?
I do.
Yes?
I knew Danny Rowling, I say well, but I knew him after he had committed the murders, and I interviewed him several times. and he was great looking. I said, I would have fixed you up with a girlfriend. And he said, I don't kill the people I date. So
It's just the rest of us. That is a really interesting point, though, that the reason they're successful in the serial part of it is because not anyone would think it in a normal interaction.
Yes.
Right.
That's creepy.
I mean, I
That's
can
truly
see
the
why
scary
Zac
part.
Efron would want to go for that type of a role to get
Yes.
out of, you know,
Pretty
the
boy.
teen, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, I hate when they do that because it just tarnishes you can't help it.
Right. It's going to be hard to look at High School Musical when
Yes,
you're now seeing Ted Bundy.
You know how it turned out.
We'll see how it goes. All right, we're going to check in with our happy hour forecast. And when we come back, we're going to have a great conversation about new you for a new year.
Good afternoon, I'm Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with your first alert weather update for this afternoon. We had some fog this morning, sunshine to follow, and now clouds have come back in associated with a frontal boundary. 74 degrees right now. It's warmer today, and dew point is at 63. That's way up there. Winds are out of the south at 15. It has been a bit breezy today. That fog was around up until late morning, really, in some places. Now it looks like this frontal boundary will cause a possibility of more fog later on tonight. Now the planner is calling for mostly cloudy skies, 65 degrees, pretty much holding steady through 11 o'clock. And that's because we'll be out ahead of the actual front. The current temperatures across the area now 81 in Orlando and 78 in Miami, a bit cooler in the Panhandle, and 66 there in Pensacola. And as far as the forecast goes, here's a look at the lows tonight across the state. We will stay pretty warm here, 63 for a low, 67 in Fort Myers, and 70 in Melbourne, 72 in West Palm Beach. More on this front and the rest of the week's weather coming up at 5. See you then.
For many people, a new year is a chance to be a new you. But that may mean changing the way that we think about ourselves. Author Catherine Orford has written a book on how to become your #1 fan, and she's here to teach us how to do that. Now, you're right about, Catherine, that you went through some dark times yourself.
I sure did, yes. About 29 years ago, actually. The long story short, the man of my dreams turned out to be my biggest nightmare. In hindsight, he was my biggest gift, which is always the case.
Yes.
But I didn't know that I was adopted at the time. He dumped me, overlapped his women, married another woman within 3 months. I put on my Superwoman cape, pretended I was okay, but of course inside I wasn't okay, and I couldn't sustain that. And so I ended up falling into quite a deep, dark depression. And I was a dance teacher, and when I turned on music and I felt nothing, like numb, I just went, well, if I can't express myself through dance, I don't want to be here.
Oh, wow. So how did you get out of it?
Well, the thing that really was the biggest thing when I was actually chastising myself for not being able to organize my own suicide, this inner critic was like having a field day. And when I chose life, I chose never to allow anyone to rob me of my self-esteem again, because I gave away my personal power to him. You know, I allowed him to break my heart. I want to make that perfectly clear. You know, people go, oh, you broke my heart. No, you can't do that. You have to allow that to happen.
Now, you say we have an inner critic. What do we do about our inner critic?
We absolutely have to interrupt the pattern. And it doesn't matter how you do it, but you can change the tone, because the tone will be really, really critical, right? Change it to silly, change it to sultry. Do whatever it takes, but don't allow that inner critic or the negative thought to be in your brain for more than 10 seconds. Change the tone, change the volume, drown it out. I used to say, out of here, I don't need you anymore. Out of here, I don't need you anymore. And then put a positive onto the end, because then we're creating new neural pathways in our brain.
Now you've got 4 points that we need to remember. Tell me about those.
Well, one is just stop that inner critic. Just don't allow it to run the show, because you can take control, and people don't realize that. The other thing is, as women in particular, but men do it as well, stop playing the compare and despair game. Yes, comparing and going, oh, I'm not as pretty, as clever, as slim, as fit, as whatever. We start to realize we're not good enough around the age of 2. And then we build all of this conditioning, and we start putting on a persona, and we start pretending. So I really, really suggest that instead of comparing and despairing, compare and dare. Compare and dare to be your best you, because no one else on the planet can be you.
That sounds very good. Now, you say treat yourself like a child.
Yes, because as tiny children, guess what? We didn't have that inner critic, did we?
Right.
No.
We just did it.
We just did it, and we didn't know the meaning of the word failure. We would fall over, and we just get up and have another go, and we got clapped for failing. How's that? And so we think failing is fun. And then it all changes. So find a picture, get your viewers, I highly encourage them, find a picture of yourself as a tiny child between the age of about 6 months and 18 months before we started hearing don't, silly, all those things. Look into the eyes of that tiny child every morning. And then promise to them and put it on your devices. Promise them, I'm going to treat you with the love and the respect that you deserve, and I'm going to nurture you, because the way we speak to ourselves sometimes is not how we would treat a tiny baby, is it?
So we just get rid of those past experiences.
Yes, and the past experiences, sometimes people drag the past into the current reality, and guess what they create? More of the same. Go back to my really darkest moment, but I've actually reframed it, and that was a gift. And I go get the lessons. What did I learn from that? Don't give away my power to anyone
It's like making a new story out of what had already happened.
Yes. Oh, we've got to hear more of this. You can learn more about Catherine and about her work if you go to her website. There's so much more we want to hear about this, about becoming your #1 fan. And next, if you've been missing those great Jewish delis around here, we'll tell you where you can find one.
Don't allow your weight to threaten your health or control your future. Excess weight or obesity can cause emotional and physical health risks. But you can take control. The Your Weight Matters campaign offers free resources and tips to help you measure and understand your weight. Take the Your Weight Matters Challenge. The free toolkit prepares you to speak with a healthcare provider about your weight. Your weight does matter. Take the challenge and take control today.
Planning a Carnival Fantasy Cruise out of Mobile? Then check out the park and cruise packages at the luxurious Battle House and Renaissance Riverview Plaza hotels. Stay at the Battle House for $169 per night, or the Riverview Plaza for just $149 per night, and leave your car for the duration of your cruise. Includes transportation to and from the cruise terminal. If you're cruising out of Mobile, come stay with us. Call 1-800-MARRIOTT or visit Marriott.com now.
Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone.
Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
For many northern transplants like myself, there is nothing quite like the sandwiches and specialties from a good Jewish deli. Chef Allison is here with some great news about the 10th annual Sarasota Jewish Food Festival. Hi, Allison.
Hello.
We can't wait to hear. What's the big news?
Well, if you look right over here, we have Carnegie Deli.
Oh.
Okay, corned beef and pastrami.
Okay, now I have a question. I was pretty sure Carnegie Deli closed in New York. How did you do this?
Well, we buy wholesale. So we had we have 300 pounds of meat delivered for the Sarasota Jewish Food Festival, which is held at Temple Sinai, just so you know, this Sunday, January 28th.
And you're still able to order the food as if we could go to Carnegie Deli so we can have it here.
Yes, we're bringing it in from Carnegie Deli. It's cryovac. It's beautiful. We order it.
Yeah.
You have to order it up ahead. They ship it to us, and then we are going to be slicing it for the day of the event.
Oh,
What
these
a
guys are
treat.
Such good cooks, too. I've been there
Absolutely.
many times. They
All
are
right,
awesome.
Will,
Yes.
would you please, since you have all four
All right,
sandwiches down there, do a
fine.
little sharing?
Yes, I'll share.
All right, well, aside from everything at the deli, tell us a little bit about some of the other dishes that you brought to talk about and why they're important to the Jewish faith.
Okay, well, you know, Judaism is also very cultural, and we are defined by food. A lot of cultures, you know, are defined by food. So one of the things that we have here is our blintzes. These are cheese blintzes. And, you know, it's sort of Eastern European is a lot of the dishes that we're doing here. Blintzes, we have potato knishes, and we have cabbage. So a lot of, you know, Eastern Europeans came over to the United States and they brought their cultural heritage with them. And so we feature them at the Jewish Food Festival, so they kind of feel at home. A lot of the recipes are developed from people's grandparents, or, you know, they have their way of how they do it, and we try to be as authentic as possible.
And this is a special year for the Jewish faith. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's the 70th anniversary of Israel, and that's a huge deal. So there's been activities going all over the county with the Jewish Federation. And then we're celebrating our 10th year. The other thing that we also are going to be having is matzo ball soup, cabbage soup. We have a lot of baked goods, all the traditional cookies, hamantaschen, mandel bread, strudels.
Okay, this is a lot of work. Who's doing all the cooking? I mean, the hands-on with just knishes and cabbage rolls, that's all very labor intensive.
We have about 200 volunteers throughout the day that come help, but we start cooking, we have different segments of times that we bring in all volunteers. So we have all the older ladies that come in, like I said, and they are really excited to, they rolled 1,200 cabbage rolls. So it takes about 2 to 3 days. And they make the sauce, they make everything. The knishes, we did about almost 1,000 knishes. We're also doing a sweet potato knish. And again, we have just volunteers coming in. Now, I oversee the entire food production because I am a trained chef, and we want to make sure that everything is, you know, sanitary and, you know, all up to code so that everybody's safe. But we bring in groups of different volunteers. I know, Linda, you've come and watched us make
practically
all
every
the
year in
soup.
their kitchen. It is an amazing place, and they're having a great time.
Yeah, they really do. It's community based. So that's the whole thing about, you know, the Jewish Food Festival. It's, you know, we bring the community together. Everybody helps to get all the food made, and we also are partnering with the All Faith Food Bank. So you know, come and eat and bring something to eat for our
great event.
Food bank. We also have the sheriff's departments bringing adopted dogs. So there's something for everything. There's health vendors. There's an art fair. We have a lot of talented artists that come and display their work and are donating that. So,
well, we're super excited, and the Temple Sinai Jewish Food Festival is Sunday, January 28th. For more information, go to thejewishfoodsrq.com. And next, some very smart kids are here to teach us about Lego building.
For the last decade, S&S Motorsports of Sarasota has built custom high-performance vehicles for demanding clients worldwide. They're now bringing their 50-plus years of combined build expertise to the parts business. SRQ Performance Parts is your one-stop shop for all your performance parts and accessories.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
Our nation's servicemen and women show great courage and leadership, both on and off the battlefield. When they transition to civilian life, they can apply the skills and values they learned in the military to the workplace. That's why the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes is urging employers everywhere to be smart, bet on a vet. Hiring a veteran is also a great way to show your appreciation for them. To learn more, call 1-888-44-SALUTE.
Get all the local information you need before you leave home in the morning. Watch Good Morning Suncoast weekdays on ABC 7 to get breaking news, plus first alert, weather and traffic focused on where you live. ABC 7, we're here for you.
Welcome back. We hear a lot about the importance of encouraging kids to pursue science and technology interests. Fun-Jucation is a Suncoast program designed specifically for this. They are bringing the first ever Lego League Expo right here to the Suncoast. Here to show us more about it is organizer Neer de la Font and 6 very skilled kids. And of course, we hear a lot of acronyms thrown around. Neerdra, great to have you back with us.
So much.
Make sure we all understand what STEAM is.
Okay, STEAM is an acronym for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Mathematics. Not only is it an acronym, but it's actually a movement to encourage and engage our kids to get into those fields as they get older, because there is a projected shortfall of skilled labor in those fields.
And you are doing so much to try to change that on the Suncoast, and we so appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
These kids are all part of, let's call it a STEAM team, if you will.
Right.
Tell
Yes,
tell us what they do.
So this is actually one of our very first Lego League Junior teams. Hi, guys.
Say hi. Don't get shy now. They're not shy.
Tell them, what's the name of your team, guys?
Who are you?
I'm Captain Brickbeard's
There
Bounty
must,
Hunters.
Tell me again, there must be a reason you're wearing pirate hats.
Right.
We're Captain Brickbeard's Bounty Hunters.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll let them tell me, when you guys work together and get together, what do you do? What's the point of all this? Who wants to talk?
Me.
Okay, I found my interview. What do you do?
Well, we are obviously pirates, and we don't want to live in an apartment anymore, so we need to live in a ship or city over the ocean without needing supplies from anyone else.
Okay, so you're building this then?
Yes. So we kind of, we wanted to have a place where we could have all the things we needed without any help, and we kind of built it right here.
Okay, I want to see what's going on here. Now, I understand we have some robotics involved.
Yes,
Things can move around.
Yes, we do. And the reason why the kids chose pirates and they want to build over water is because every year they actually use a theme for the program. And this year is the Aqua Adventure Challenge. So it's all about teaching kids about engineering behind water. So the kids are then tasked with researching a real-world subject or topic having to do with water, and then running with their creativity to build a model based on that, and then adding a motorized component that they code.
So it's going to move?
Exactly.
All right, who can make it move? Who knows how to do that? All right.
Right.
Go ahead.
I have the turbine.
Oh,
So
the turbine.
is right over here.
And do you run this off of this iPad?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, we need the iPad to run it. Okay.
So they run it off of the iPad because it's running off of a Lego technology called the We Do 2, which is right over here to our right.
Oh, wow.
So the We Do 2 has the regular Lego brick elements, but it also has what we call the brain. In which the kids code on the platform, on their tablets.
You guys
and
know
you're
how to
about
code?
see-
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's really cool.
Shout it out.
All right, so we're going to
Okay.
hit a button here, and we're going to watch all this coding in action.
So we have to press the screen button, and
Okay.
when it blinks, and then you have to press this to program it or like connect it.
So they're acknowledging the brain.
Okay.
And then when it's dark blue and it's not blinking,
then you can.
Oh, yep, it's blue. I see it.
When it puts a thumbs up, then you press.
Okay, so it's talking to it now. The coding you did is talking to your robot.
So you press the play button.
Oh, boy. All right, let's see. Is something going to happen?
Yep, right over here.
I see parts moving.
As you can see, the turbine moves,
Oh, that's
and then
awesome.
the little propeller.
Yes.
And so that's one of the programs that they wrote, coded, and then just executed. And so now we have another gadget right here. And all of this was built from scratch, from the Lego pieces.
How long did it take them?
Oh, guys, how long did it take you? You've been working on this for, I think, about 2 months?
Maybe. I think so. 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah.
Here, step right on up here.
Once a week. No.
How often? How often do you get together?
Yeah, you did.
Once a week.
You meet once a week after school, and then do you all work together to figure out the code? It looks kind of complicated.
We have little groups sometimes.
Groups? Does it take a lot of brains? Everybody's brain works together?
Yes, we've got some pretty good brains over there.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you're all working together. All right, do you have something else that's going to move when you tell the brain what to do?
Put it right over here, and they're going to build, if you look over here, it'll be an elevator, and the elevator is actually going to rise up, and you'll notice the motorization and movements with the gears. So Corbin, did you want to go ahead and hit your button first?
He's going to hit the button.
So he's going to come get the brain.
So we had to learn how to program gears and pulleys, right?
That's right.
That's very
so
useful.
We're blinking, right? And now it's solid, right? And we are going to Lego.
I hear noises.
Oh, and there it goes. Very We're very excited about this because, get this, when we built with Legos 100 million years ago, they didn't have buttons and computers and things. We had to move the pulley ourselves. So we like the
imagination. Right?
That's right. We like it that you can make your Legos do things by themselves. Nirda, tell us about the expo. What do these kids get to experience when they get together with other groups?
Excited. I'm so excited about the expo. So the expo is an opportunity for kids that have created teams for the season and want to show and share about their creations. So it's going to be their creations, there's going to be the coding, and also poster boards that have the information about what they learned throughout their journey, things they want to share about the Aqua Adventure season, about water. So it's going to be a fantastic event. We're also going to have our older league, the first Lego League, and they actually have robots that they program to complete missions. And they're going to be doing that also. So these guys are ages 6 to 10, and the older league is 10 to 14. So it's gonna be a great time. It's a great opportunity for the world to see we can engage our kids in STEAM technology. It can be fun, and they can do it.
Absolutely, and we need them, because if you guys weren't figuring out how to make pulleys and lifts, I don't know what we're gonna do for the rest of the world.
That's right. This is the future we're looking at right here, guys.
You're gonna create things for us. So thanks for figuring that out. And we hope you have a great time at the expo. And we want to encourage everybody to go to this expo, because not only will it help support these kids with what they're doing, but bring your kids, because then they can get excited about STEAM too. This is the future that we're talking about here, and it is some really great stuff. The first Lego League Junior Expo is coming up Saturday, February 3rd. It is at the mall at UTC, and it's going to be in the Grand Court. So you move this really carefully to the mall, okay?
Yes,
I bet that's we're going to have to be very, very careful about that, because we want to see all your hard work, and you can show it to everybody. All right, you guys, thanks for joining us. Congratulations, we love what you built. And coming up next, speaking of building, our friend Candace is going to fill us in on all the latest Suncoast development details. Stay with us.
ABC 7, your official Florida lottery station for the Suncoast.
The classic film Singing in the Rain is coming to the Players Center in a live stage show opening January 17th. All the dances and all the songs you've come to know and love, all a part of our wild Broadway series. Get your tickets now for this limited run by calling the Players at 365-2494 or visit us online at theplayers.org. You too can be singing in the rain.
From our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is an ABC 7 News Update.
Good afternoon, I'm Jacqueline Matter. Here's what we're working on for 5 o'clock. The Senate reaches a deal to end the government shutdown, but both parties still have to deal with the issue of immigration. And a man sentenced to life in jail for a home invasion murder is now charged with another death in Sarasota County. How detectives were able to find a lead in the case nearly 10 years later. Now let's get a check on our first alert weather forecast with Bob Harrigan.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Right now, 74 degrees. We have some clouds around in advance of a cold front. A lot of fog this morning. That fog could be back again late tonight and tomorrow morning. But on top of that, a good chance for showers and even an isolated thunderstorm, not out of the question, over the next 24 hours. South winds at 15, bringing that temperature and dew point temperature up as well. And you can see the advancement of this frontal system making its way through the Gulf. Some showers and some embedded thunderstorms offshore. We'll have the timing of those coming up at 5. See you then.
Breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC7 News app.
My life motto is keep moving. And as hard as it was when my husband passed away, I knew I had to keep doing what I love. Oops, coming. But I needed help with my insurance, and that's what the NAIC provides. They have resources to help you and your family make the best decision, and they'll help you to keep moving forward, just like me.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. So wet.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
It seems like every time we turn around, there is a new building or a business springing up here on the Suncoast, which of course is very good for our local economy. Our guest host, Candace McKellia, has her ear to the ground, and she's here to give us the latest on all of the developments. We're so glad you're paying attention.
Thank you.
And you know what's going on.
Thank you. There's so much going on, and it's not good for my local economy that Whole Foods is getting ready to open right in my neighborhood.
Oh, mine
But that's the first thing that we'll talk about.
So tell us about the opening of Whole Foods.
Yeah, so it's super exciting. It's the second Whole Foods for Sarasota. It's going to be on University Parkway in a center called University Station. So you have a lot of other businesses there. Some are already open. The Wawa is already open. The Zoe's Kitchen is open. You've got a Tesla supercharger station is already open at this center. But everyone has been waiting for Whole Foods to open, and it's finally happening on January 31st. So that is next week, and there's going to be some really great fun activities happening for the grand opening. Obviously, it's open to the public. They want everyone to come out, and it serves as the official grand opening of the entire center, even though there are already some businesses that are already opened their doors and are already welcoming patrons. But that's very exciting. So there's two events. There's the grand opening on January 31st at 8 a.m., and there's going to be lots of giveaways and fun things happening throughout that morning. But then also on January 27th, the Saturday before the grand opening, there's a Whole Foods partner parking lot event, which is the parking lot is going to be filled with vendors that Whole Foods works with. And there's going to be lots of fun activities, face painting, a DJ, the Sarasota Military Academy drumline is going to be there, bounce houses, stilt walkers.
Stop by with the
kids. Yeah, it's
Wow.
a great kid-friendly fun event, and lots of food, obviously, to be sampling.
Well, now, what about Venice? What's going on in Venice right now?
Well, Venice is exploding, so lots of construction all over the place. The one thing that we're going to talk about today is that PGT is getting ready to host the ribbon cutting, the opening of their child care building. So PGT is opening its own building for its employees and for people in the community to have child care. Yeah, which is fantastic. It's under construction now, but it's over 8,000 square foot facility. It will offer affordable, convenient child care for PGT families with young children, as well as parents who work in that Triple Diamond Commerce Park in North Venice. So it's a $1.8 million project, and it's expected to be officially open in March. And J.E. Charlotte is a local construction company that's building that.
Well, we talk more about how to attract and keep young workers. When I had young children, childcare on site would have done it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's huge.
I mean,
Well,
what
of
a
course,
great thing.
Another way to attract workers, affordable housing.
Yeah, so I'm sure you've seen recently that Harry Vengroff pulled out of his project that he wanted to do with the city of Sarasota, which is really disappointing because we always talk about spurring the local economy and keeping our young workers here, and there's just such a lack of affordable housing, particularly in Sarasota County and the city. And so he's pulling his project and taking it to Manatee County because the regulations are so much less. The impact fees are less. And it just seems like the local officials in Manatee County are much more willing to work with developers, which is really unfortunate. I mean, we have I see it in my own business when you're trying to hire someone at an entry-level position. You cannot find rent for under $1,000 in Sarasota.
And at least it's not out of the Suncoast area.
Right.
I mean, I hate to see Sarasota and Manatee pitting against each other. I mean, I think we can work in tandem.
Right.
So hopefully it'll help if we can at least get that housing up in
Yes,
Manatee.
we need to get it started. We've been talking about this for a long time.
And it seems like every time we take 2 steps forward, we take 3 steps backward in Sarasota. So I don't know what the answer is, but really trying to, attract workers here is going to be completely hampered by the fact that they have nowhere to live.
And I do hear our young workers, because we have them at our station, talk about how it does cost less to live in Manatee, and they know that.
Right.
So it seems like it makes sense.
Of course, if we get affordable housing, we need corporate expansion. We need more jobs.
Yes.
How about that?
We do. And good jobs.
Yes.
So you mentioned some medical expansion with the medical tech companies.
Yes. So
Mercedes Medical?
The other thing that's happening in Manatee County is Mercedes Medical is expanding. They're building a $7 million building off Rangeland Parkway, which is right near Intercoastal Medical Group up there. It's going to become this really large medical complex in Lakewood Ranch, and Half Acre Construction is building that building, and it's really great for the area. It's going to be a 54,000 square foot building for Mercedes Medical, which is a privately held national laboratory products distribution company, which is all women owned and women run.
Really?
Awesome.
Did not know that.
Alex Miller is the fabulous CEO of that company and really expanding. And like you said, we should have all gone into medical products, right?
We probably should have, but that's all right.
Oh, wow, things are really jumping here on the
Things
Suncoast.
are jumping.
Exciting.
Oh, thank you. Well, of course, you can get more information at Candace's website. Her website is 360pr.com. 360pr.com. So check it out and find out what's happening. And next, we've got the viewers' views on some hot topics. This should be interesting.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7.
I have heard from many people in the community, savvy political people, that they think that this is a tight race. I've heard from Republicans and Democrats saying that they think that this is going to be a tight race.
Big developments in the hottest political race on the Suncoast, and now a huge debate. I'm Alan Cohn with the where, when, and why at the Trapezoid.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Everything all right? Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
A decade of war has taken an unprecedented toll on our men and women in uniform.
Hundreds of thousands of our veterans are suffering from the trauma of war.
At Justice for Vets, we believe that every veteran should have the opportunity for treatment and restoration.
Get involved and go to justiceforvets.org.
Help put treatment within reach of veterans in crisis.
Veterans fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn to fight for theirs.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch ABC 7 wherever you are, on our live stream, on mysuncoast.com, on the ABC 7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, dining with recipes, and My Suncoast Restaurant Guide. Visit mysuncoast.com. Click on the Apps tab to download the ABC 7 My Suncoast app for Apple and Android.
On Friday, we had a great discussion about Manatee schools, talking about extending their school day by 30 minutes with a March 20 referendum for additional money going on the ballot. Well, we are hearing back from you, which we really appreciate. And one of our viewers wrote in that I am a mom of 3 school-aged children and that they already don't have any downtime, those kids. They need to go back to basics and give them more study time, more recess and breaks during the day. The mom writes that she feels that the pressure with testing and staying up late on top of extracurricular activities is just too much for our kids. And she says there's depression rates and suicide rates, all that go back to school pressure, which I think we all have read and talked about too. So very much 2 different sides to this issue, whether more instruction time leads to higher school rankings, which we're all looking for, or whether it's just too much for the kids. So these are the debates we love. We talk about them here. We love to hear from you. So weigh in on our hot topics. You can find us online on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, or send us an email, suncoastview@mysuncoast.com. Coming up next, there's no debating. We love to go to the kitchen, and we're going to join Boston Mike from Stoudemire's, find out what a bomber is with us.
Download the all-new ABC 7 First Alert Weather app now. Tomorrow at 5 on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Webb.
And I'm Ray Collins. Update that resume. You're looking for a job or a new job? There's a big job fair tomorrow on the Suncoast.
All right, suit up. We'll tell you what you can expect. That is tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
Got quite a job tomorrow forecasting the weather because of a frontal boundary sinking southward. Could change up our weather. We'll talk about that bright and early.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you. From our studios on Florida Suncoast, this is an ABC 7 News Update.
Hello, I'm Jacqueline Matter. Here's what we're working on for 5 o'clock. An elementary school student faces charges after bringing a gun to school in Manatee County. How another student was able to bring the situation to light to keep others safe. Now let's get a check on our First Alert weather forecast with Bob Harrigan.
Thanks, Jacqueline. We're watching a frontal boundary move through the Gulf of Mexico, and it is going to bring us a good chance for some showers, even an isolated thunderstorm overnight and tomorrow. Once the front moves through, things will start to dry out a little bit, but until then, there's a good chance we'll see some more fog rolling in from the Gulf of Mexico. That's a sea fog, which is a fog that kind of sticks around a little longer, and it looks like that would possibly be coming onshore again, say after midnight tonight. Could be rather thick at times. The evening planner, though, calling for clouds around, temperatures holding into the mid-60s all the way to 11 o'clock. We'll have the details on that front and the rest of the work week's weather at 5.
Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC 7, weekdays starting at 5.
It's time to take a road trip.
If you love the beach, Alabama's Gulf Coast has 32 miles of sugar white sand and turquoise water. Looking for a room with a view? We have them. Beachside and Bayside. There's incredible history. Whoa! And the seafood is fresh from the Gulf. Another round of shrimp for my friends. Alabama has a road trip with your name on it.
Which one you gonna take?
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's at FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
We are problem solvers striving for answers. Relevancy on every platform. We are driven to create content that's compelling, engaging, where it matters. We are neighbors that care about solutions, believers in making a difference, leaders, innovating in an exciting era of multimedia, reaching to always be the gold standard in our evolving landscape. We are Raycom Media. Find your opportunity today.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Coming up Tuesday at 4 on Suncoast View, one of the biggest Suncoast events of the year still has room for you. We'll tell you about the annual Forks and Corks wine events and all that has to offer. The Oscar nominations are just being revealed. Our movie guy talks who got snubbed and who's likely to take home the Academy Award. Plus, the Sarasota Jazz Fest brings a world-famous jazz performer. Michael Klauber joins us in the kitchen.
Welcome back. We're here with Boston Mike from Stottlemyre Smokehouse. So, Boston Mike, what are we making today?
We're going to do a steak bomber.
Nice. All right. Excellent. So, how do we prepare? What are we doing here?
Okay. We first start off with some nice shaved ribeye.
Oh, okay.
That we take off the bone at the shop. We shave it on the slicer.
Okay.
To make it like fine and moist. And then we toss it in the skillet. Well, actually, I do it on a flat top at the shop.
Okay.
Because here at the studio, I got the flat pan butt. And then we have some peppers, which we slice to the side.
Right.
Then you gotta get real nice and.
Oh, put my hand in.
Yes, ma'am. Dig it out. There you go.
Got it.
Same with the onion. You're gonna cross side the onion.
Got it.
And the bread over here, we're just gonna give it a little slice down the middle.
So if I wanted to do this at home and I don't have your fancy slicer for the meat, is that, should I put it in a grinder? Can I put it? How would I do it?
You could just go buy some typical ribeye and then just like get a cheese grater and just.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, real simple.
You can use a cheese grater on meat?
Cheese grater.
Cooked or raw?
Yeah. Cooked.
Frozen.
Frozen.
Okay, now that's important. Frozen raw or frozen cooked?
Frozen raw meat.
Really?
Yes.
I would have never done that.
And then what we do is you can shave it up, and then as it's frozen, it's gonna melt. As you're shaving, it's gonna get tender, and it's gonna basically look
like that. Yeah. What a great idea.
Ribeye.
All right.
So then once you have everything in the pan, everything's cooked up, what's
we
next?
saute the onions, peppers, and mushrooms, which we just toss inside the pan. Get the.
Now, those are cooked mushrooms already? Or?
No, they are not cooked.
Okay.
I prefer to use regular mushrooms or the canned mushrooms if you prefer, like gentlemen at home or want to watch the football game or whatever, they just want to be quick and simple. But I prefer the fresh mushrooms.
This is a good football game
really
sandwich. That's a great idea.
Quick and simple.
Yeah, great idea.
And we also do this as well. Instead of using the ribeye, I would use my smoked chicken that I put on the smoker for 5 hours at a time.
Oh, wow.
And I actually pull the chicken.
Okay.
To no bones. And then I'll toss it in there instead of the steak.
Right, so you could do a chicken bomber.
You could do a chicken bomber or, and actually I just put this on the menu a month ago and it's crazy.
Yeah, all right, so we need the onions, we need the peppers, we need the mushrooms. Is there any snare?
Yes, just basic salt and pepper.
Okay.
Simple, to your taste. I mean, some people like a lot of pepper, some people like a lot of salt.
Well, Candace has a theory on what makes it so good, and it's what sits right in front there.
I was going to say, I'm eyeballing the cheese.
We think it's the cheese.
Well, that.
We think it's the cheese.
And absolutely. Now, at the restaurant, we do provolone cheese.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we thought that was.
We like that idea.
Super good.
Provolone, again, to your liking. I usually do 3 at the restaurant.
Oh, there we go.
So right in the pan.
Right in the pan, then you give it a little poke.
What's that for?
That gives it the steam. It'll give it some moisture.
Oh, so it's going to melt right there on the
It's going to
meat?
melt right here, and then you can either put a screen on it like this.
Give it a second.
Give it a second.
All right, I like that. While we give that a second, I want to take a quick little tour about some of the, nothing little about, all the other things that you've got going on at Stottlemeyer's.
Okay.
Cornbread, tell us about the meats.
Okay, we're going to start over here with our fried chicken, which Steve did in the Texaco gas station years ago. And
Right.
how we created it over here, and it's, like, really good. Then
Very
we have
known for your chicken.
Yes. Then we have our long bone ribs with our baked
Wow.
beans, which is pork baked beans, all homemade. And then we also have chicken wings, which is great for football.
Yep.
And smoked chickens are good.
All right, and Stottlemeyer's a great place to sit out this time of year and
Oh, yeah.
enjoy the patio. I know you often have live music out there.
Yes, ma'am. Every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh, great place to go, especially with the temperatures being a little cooler. Sitting
Yes.
outside doesn't get better than that. Well, in case you've never known before, in Boston, it's a bomber. Us Philly people, Penn State people, we called them cheesesteaks. But
Cheesesteaks.
same concept, right?
Yes, same basic idea. And then as this is simmering, you would like to have your bread in the oven toasted a little, get a little heated up.
All right, well, we're going to need to see a final product here because we are running out of time. So
Okay.
Boston Mike's going to put the finishing touches on the bomber. You can go see him at Stottlemeyer's. Will and Candace, great to have you both with
Thank
us.
you very much. We're
Take
happy
some
to be here.
time. Enjoy the Suncoast view.